What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another favorites video for you. So I recently did a video on my top 5 collections that came out in 2024 and now I'm sharing with you my top 24 polishes that came out in 2024. And this is something I like to do each year separate from the full collections video because I really wanted to highlight individual polishes that came out that either really inspired me or polishes that I wore the most. And they don't always come from my favorite collections. In fact, I'm trying my best not to do too much overlap just because I did talk a lot about those favorites in that video, but today I just wanted to highlight my absolute favorites, the ones that I wore the most often, the ones that I was the most excited about, and the ones that I found myself recommending the most when people asked me. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so we're gonna go in a little bit of a rainbow order here, starting off with Mooncat Forces of Evil. This was actually part of their Powerpuff Girls collab, which I loved so much, and this one is a red jelly with iridescent flakies in it, but what made it special in my opinion is it actually has these really vibrant blue iridescent flakes in it. It's honestly a little bit hard to see on camera, but in person, this is such a stunning color combo. It feels very bright, it feels very summery, and I feel like having the blue flakies in such a warm color is so unexpected, so I really ended up loving this one. And honestly, I loved that whole collection, but this one was definitely my favorite. Next up, we have Devil Card from Ice Cream Nails. This one is actually technically a topper, but you can also wear it on its own. And this one is actually a red metallic flaky. And I don't know what it is about this collection, but especially this red was just so unique to me. The way that the flakies look almost like a different kind of material, like they almost melt into your nail, and I think that is so stunning. I love wearing it on its own, and I am able to get it to full coverage, although I would probably recommend sponging it if you want it to be full coverage without being too thick on the nail. But I do especially love this one as a topper. Over deep colors, it looks so stunning. I love it over black, and it's a type of polish that you can really layer with other toppers as well, so I just think it's really fun, and I don't know what it is about this material, but whatever these flakies are made of is absolutely incredible. So I love this one. I can't get enough of it. This was definitely my favorite of that collection. They did have a full rainbow of toppers like this, but this one was by far the best. Next up, we have a polish from Holo Taco. This is Ruby Madly Deeply. This was part of their Birthstones collection, and I'm a little bit biased because this is my birthstone. I am a July baby. I don't know, I've been in such a red phase, or I guess I was in 2024. I feel like I'm getting through it now, but I just love wearing these types of vibrant reds, especially when my hair was on the more reddish side. And this is such a stunning color. We've got this beautiful, almost jelly-like base, but then within it, we've got a combo of this crushed hollow as well as a red shimmer, and it all comes together so beautifully. I also feel like this is going to be a very good Lunar New Year polish, and it just has a really nice formula, super opaque. It's very much on the warm side, but that's the kind of red that I feel like I've been gravitating towards recently, so I really enjoyed that. Next up, we have a polish from Orly. This is Take Flight. This was, I believe, from their Cloudscape collection, and this is just such a standout color to me. It is a coral cream shade. I feel like I don't focus too much on the creams recently, but there are a few creams in my favorites this year because there were some that I just thought were absolutely gorgeous. And again, I think this also has to do with the fact that I have been in this sort of reddish phase, but this just felt like such a perfect summery coral red kind of shade. It's so vibrant. The formula is absolutely incredible. It's perfect for nail art, but I think it's just so beautiful to wear on its own. And I think it's just one of those universally flattering colors. I don't know. I just absolutely loved this one. Can't get enough of it. Moving on, we have a polish from OPI. This is Liquid Fire, and this was part of their fall metallic collection. And I was really excited about this collection. I feel like that type of brushstrokey finish is a love it or hate it thing, but I am one of the people who loves it. I think it kind of elongates the nail, and this color in particular was just so eye-catching to me. It's this beautiful, deep, fiery orange, and then we also have a golden shimmer running throughout, and I always like to talk about lit from within polishes. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. It just looks so fiery and beautiful, and I really do enjoy the brush strokes. I think it's really cool. I think it's a fun type of finish, and it's always so opaque that it's really perfect for nail art, especially for stamping. And I just think this color is very unique. I'm always drawn drawn to these sort of fiery oranges. I really love them. I think they look so beautiful. And I think being on the more warm toned side, I always feel like they suit my skin tone really well. Then we actually have another one from that same collection. This is OPI Millennium Mocha, and this was just such a unique color that I couldn't resist it. It's so different from what I kind of expected from OPI, and it's so different from the other colors in that collection. So looking at it, it basically looks like a brown with a golden shimmer in it, but when you're applying it, you can actually see that the base is more of a purpley tone, but when it mixes with that golden metallic shimmer, it turns into a more brownish color, and I just thought that was so interesting. It makes the polish so much more dimensional, and again, super opaque, amazing formula. It does have that brush strokiness, so you do have to be careful, but like I said, I feel like that elongates my nails. It makes them look really beautiful, and I just feel like this is such a perfect autumnal color to me. Speaking of autumnal shades, we also have this one from Picture Polish. This is September, and this is another shade that I just couldn't resist because of the color. I feel like this is one of those shades that kind of borders on being ugly and pretty, but I can't get enough of colors like that. We have this really interesting brown, but it's almost like a greenish brown, and within that we've got this gorgeous golden hollow glitter. Again, it just feels like a perfect fall color to me. I think it's so unique and different. This is another one of those shades that I think is kind of a love it or hate it situation, and I just love it. The formula is so incredible. Picture Polish actually does have a mostly plant-based formula, and I feel like it's so good and easy to work with that every time I use it, it always surprises me that not every brand has a plant-based formula, and they also smell very mild. So if you're sensitive to smells, this is something that I absolutely love about this brand. But yeah, really gorgeous shade. I don't know that it necessarily suits my skin tone, but I love wearing it anyway because I think it's really funky. Next up, we have yet another OPI. This is the shade Priceless, and this is another cream finish. This time it is in more of a lime green color. This was part of their summer 2024 collection, I believe, and I just love this shade so much. I feel like it's hard, especially for creams and when it comes to mainstream brands, to get this almost yellow toned color to be very opaque, and this was a 2-coater on my nail length, which I thought was very impressive, but the color itself is still so vibrant and saturated, so I really appreciate that. I just love a good color with a good formula, and that's exactly what this is. Like all the other creams I've been talking about, this one is also great for nail art, but I just think it's a really pretty shade on its own, and I feel like this could work for multiple seasons as well, because it feels like it could be a perfect springy color too, or even a more Halloween-y shade because it's that interesting lime green kind of color. So I definitely ended up getting a lot of wear out of this one. Next up, we have another shade from Mooncat. This is Serpents of Eden from their Pandora Unboxed collection, and this was an instant love for me. I cannot get enough of this color. It's this absolutely stunning green metallic shade, but it has this almost multi-chrome dimension to it in that around the edges it looks like it goes into blue and even into purple and pink. It is so opaque. It's so gorgeous. The formula is absolutely incredible on this one. There were a few shades that came out that were fairly similar, but in terms of just personal favorite, this was mine just because I love the slightly bluish tone to it. And again, this does feel like a multi-season color to me because it feels like a good mysterious summery kind of color, but it also works perfectly for fall, but it feels like a perfect jeweled tone for winter. So definitely love this one. I feel like I'm going to be wearing this so much. Then we have yet another shade from Mooncat. This is Maelstrom. This was from the Songs of Sirens collection, and this was actually what I listed as my favorite collection of the year because all of those shades were just absolutely perfect to me, but this one was definitely my favorite. It is just so unbelievably stunning. We have this deep blue jelly base, and it is packed with iridescent green and gold flakies. It has so much depth and so much dimension to it. It looks like a beautiful, mysterious underwater vibe, but it also feels kind of like a mythical forest vibe. We also have a scattered hollow running throughout, so when it hits the light, it just looks rainbowy and beautiful, and I love the formula. I feel like I loved so many flakies this year. It was really hard for me to get away from this type of formula because I just kept on I'm coming back to it. I love the dimensionality of flakies. Speaking of flakies, here's another one. This is KBShimmer Swim Pickings, which I feel like I talked a lot about this here, but I could not get over this one either. This one is a stunning cobalt blue jelly base, and it is packed with a rainbow of iridescent glitters. So again, it kind of has this oceanic vibe, but this one is a little bit more of like a fantasy tropical vibe. It feels like a perfect summer color. It's so vibrant, almost neon in that blue color, and all of the flakies in there mixed with the blue just creates such beautiful ethereal sort of colors to them. I love that there's so many different sizes of flakies. Sometimes you get these huge pieces on your nail that almost look like scales. So it's very mermaid vibes to me, and I had a lot of fun wearing this one, especially over the summer, but I feel like that blue is deep enough to also work really well for winter time. Then we've got another shade from KBShimmer. This is Current Affairs, another oceanic vibe polish. This is actually what I'm wearing on my nails right now. This is just another stunner. I love this color. It's a beautiful blue duochrome. Looking at it head on, it actually looks like more of a teal color, but around the edges it becomes more of a cooler toned blue, and even at extreme angles it looks like more of an indigo into purple. And then we have what I consider to be a classic for KBShimmer, which is those little diamond chip hollow flecks. I love that silvery sort of look that they give, and the formula on this is absolutely incredible. I feel like KBShimmer in general is such a beginner friendly formula, especially their shimmers like this. They're so easy to work with. I never have to do cleanup with them. I feel like it's more of a summery color, but I couldn't resist wearing it for a wintry vibe. This is Orly Aloe Métis, and this was part of their Melting Point collection, which I absolutely loved. All of these colors were just so bright and so intense, so perfect for summertime, and they're also in the breathable formula, which I love because it feels so strengthening on my nails, but this color had to be the standout for me. Honestly, it was actually hard to decide between this and the orange or Up to No Good, but in the end, purple always wins out for me. We've got a cool toned purple, super vibrant. It's almost the same color as my favorite Orly Synthetic Symphony, and this one actually has a sort of fuchsia shimmer running throughout, so it kind of warms it up a little bit. We've got that nice contrast of shimmer, and again, the formula is absolutely amazing. It gives me perfect coverage in 2 coats, and it just feels like a shimmery version of my favorite Orly, so I really loved that, and I thought the whole collection was absolutely stunning, but this one was just perfection to me. Next up, I actually have 2 polishes, but I'll talk about this one first, but I would say they're one combined. This is Orly All Eyes on Her. I just talked about Orly Synthetic Symphony, which has been historically my favorite Orly polish, and that polish was actually retired, but they did release this near dupe of it called All Eyes on Her, and I have to say this absolutely blew me away. This has now become my favorite purple nail polish, and I'm so glad that they kept a variation of Synthetic Symphony around. Perfect formula. Honestly, I feel like I could get away with wearing this on one coat on most of my nails, but it's just the perfect, vibrant, cool toned cream shade. And I do want to mention this as a very similar option or an almost dupe. This is Zoya Bowie. This also came out in 2024, and this is a slightly deeper, maybe very slightly more cooler toned version, but again, it's this really intense cool toned purple cream shade. Another really amazing formula. This one dries down slightly matte, but aside from that, I would say you could really wear either of these and kind of get the same effect, that like almost neon purple color. So if you have one, I mean, I like having both, but if you have one, you probably don't need the other, but I would say they're both on par for me for being favorites, so I'm gonna count them as one. But you know me, I can never just have the correct number of favorites in my favorites videos. Next up, we have Starly Shattered Mirage. This is another shade I feel like I talked about a lot this year. This one is just another really unique shade. It's a cool toned purple base, and it has a slightly warmer toned pinky sort of shimmer running throughout, as well as golden hollow glitter in it. And I just think it's so funky. It's really typical kind of colors that I love, but the formula itself feels so different even for an indie brand like Starly that I thought it was so fun. It does start off a little bit sheer, but you can build it up to really beautiful coverage. Honestly, I think it looks gorgeous as a sort of Crelly-like formula in 2, but if I want fuller coverage, I can also wear it in 3 coats. It's just so sparkly. I love how warm it is with having that gold hollow instead of the usual silver hollow. I just think that's very fun and different. And as usual, I can never resist a purple, so I can't get enough of this one. Next up, we have Island Pea Flower Child. This was another shade I was was so excited about as soon as this came out because I love this type of formula from ILNP. This one is a sheer cool toned pink jelly, and it is totally packed with iridescent blue shimmer as well as a hollow sparkle. And they've done this type of formula before. I love it, and I was really excited to see this version of it come out because this is one of those types of polishes that no matter how many coats you do, it looks really beautiful, and it really just kind of depends on the vibe you're going for. So if you want to do a sheer sparkly look, it's perfect in one coat. If you want it to be a more jelly-like vibe, you can do it in two, but if you want that real depth of color and you want it to be a little bit more intense, then three is the way to go. And I just love it every single way. I think it's so beautiful. I feel like it works perfectly for any time of year because it's just kind of, even though it's very sparkly, it feels like a neutral sort of color to me. So yeah, really love this one. Can't get enough. I love whenever they do this formula, and I don't think I'll ever get tired of it. Got another Orly. This is Wistful Water Lily from their spring collection, which was another collection that made it to my favorites list, which honestly was a huge surprise because usually spring collections are my least favorite of the year, but this collection from Orly really impressed me. And I have to say, this was the standout color for me. It's this beautiful pearlized pinky sheer color that you can build up, and I love that warm pinky base combined with this bluish iridescent shimmer in there. I love how easy the formula is. It feels like a perfect neutral shade. It's appropriate for events. It's appropriate for work. It feels like a kind of wedding color to me. And like I said, the formula is just amazing on this one. I know it's a very simple color, but it was just done very well. And I feel like this type of shade is hard to get right without it being patchy. So I was just really impressed with this one. Moving on, we have a shade from Cadillacquer. This is Feeling Beachy. This was part of their summer 2024 collection. And we are right back to the iridescent flaky polishes because like I said, I could not get enough of these. This one is actually a neon pink shade. So we've got that as the base, and then we also have a few different colors of iridescent flaky in there. So we have the more intense fuchsia color as well as a greenish kind of tone, and all together it's just really fun. It feels like a perfect Barbie kind of shade to me. The formula is a little bit thicker, but I honestly don't have any issues with it. I think it applies really well, and for being a neon, it's very impressive that it can be so opaque. I just love how vibrant and fun it is. Next up, we have another very unique shade that's potentially an ugly pretty polish. This is Starly Blueberry Pie, and this was part of their Pie Day collection, which another one that I absolutely loved. But this one for me was a standout because it's just so weird, but in the best way. We have this sort of sheer pearly beige base that has an iridescent blue shimmer in it as well as blue multi-chrome metallic flakies, and it's just so unexpected. It's unlike anything I own. You could also wear this over black, but I think it's just so fun to wear on its own. It's definitely giving blueberry pie vibes. I feel like this was just not talked about enough when it first came out. I don't know. I think it's so weird and fun, and I love wearing it because it kind of feels like a conversation starter. It's like somewhere in between being a neutral polish and being a very funky polish. So I don't know. I really enjoy it. I honestly loved the other two polishes in this collection, and they were more on the neutral and more classic side, but this was just a fun addition, and I love seeing Starly do these types of polishes, so I really hope they make more like this. Then we've got another shade from Hollow Taco. This is Or Bite Me, and this was part of their I Need Space collection, and this is a really beautiful, deep burgundy crushed hollow formula. So we've got this gorgeous, very warm purple base. It kind of reminds me of a Hershey's wrapper. And then we have hollow sparkle running throughout in a scattered formula. And it's just another amazing one. I love how thick and opaque this formula is. And this actually might be my favorite type of finish from Hollow Taco. I just really love it. I feel like it always performs so well. And this color in particular, I feel like it fell in line with my enjoyment of reds, just having like this deeper brownish burgundy kind of vibe. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Next up, we have actually a color changing polish. This is Mooncat Queen of the Dead, and I believe this was actually the first thermal that they ever came out with, and I instantly fell in love with it. So in its cool state, it's this gorgeous deep eggplant purple color, and in its warm state, it actually becomes a cooler toned reddish kind of shade. So again, I feel like one of the reasons why I loved it so much is because I I've been in that reddish mood, but I loved this one. I thought it was just so reactive and perfect, and it still works really well for me even though it came out earlier in 2024. The formula is definitely on the thicker side, but it's still so easy to apply, and it does have a cream finish so you don't have to worry about bumpy glitters or anything like that. And I have to say, I've been really enjoying all of the thermal color changing polishes that Mooncat has done since this one, but this one has to be my favorite just because I love both of the colors so much. I think it's just so intense and vampy and fun. This next polish will come as a surprise to nobody. This is Cadillacquer Reliant Supergiant, one of my most talked about polishes of 2024, and this is actually a magnetic shade. We've got this deep teal, almost blackened jelly base, and then within it we have these silvery teal metallic flakes, as well as a magnetic red shimmer running throughout. And I just think this one is so unique. It really does look very cosmic and spacey, especially in the cat eye style. That was the style that really spoke to me with this type of polish. I just love how intense the color difference is between that red magnetic stripe and the teal color. It just offsets really beautifully. It reminds me of space. I don't know, I just love it. This was definitely my favorite magnetic of the year. Next up, we have a shade from What's Up Nails. This is called First Dash, and this came out in their Halloween collection for 2024. This one, honestly, I love this because this doesn't specifically feel like a Halloween polish to me. It almost feels kind of like a special occasion bridal polish to me. Again, we have more of that flaky vibe that I've just been loving this year. We've got a soft white, slightly grayish crelly base, and then within that we've got a mix of iridescent flakies in a reddish color as well as a blue, and then we also have these deeper purple metallic flakies, or they might be black, but they are really gorgeous, and I just think there's something so delicate and fun about this. It feels like a very funky wedding kind of polish, but it does feel neutral enough that I think it would work for special occasions, so I really enjoyed that. And like I said, I just can't get enough of the flakies, and I thought this was a really fun variation of that. It kind of looks like, I don't know, speckled countertops, so I thought that was fun. And last but not least, we have yet another flaky polish. This is KBShimmer Got It Covered, and this is actually a deeper gray crelly base, and it is packed with a multichrome flaky. Looking at it head on, those multichrome flakies look like more of a purpley color, but around the edges they fade into blue, into green, and then even into yellow and orange at extreme angles. Again, there's just something about this crelly vibe with the flakies in it, but I thought it was a really fun combination. The look of gray plus multichrome has really been speaking to me in 2024. I always thought that was so fun. So having that combined in one polish was really cool, and I especially love having that deeper gray with the deeper color of multichrome flakes. I just thought that was a fun sort of autumnal, wintry vibe, and I really enjoyed it. Again, a really great formula. I love how beginner friendly KBShimmer is. So yeah, that is it for my top 24/25 of 2024. Here is a comparison of all of them together. Honestly, it was really hard to pick favorites this year because I feel like so many beautiful shades came out, but I think I really leaned more towards the warmer shades this year, which is interesting because I tend to really focus on a lot more cooler toned, specifically purpley toned polishes. So it's kind of funny to see how my hair color affects my interest in nail colors. But yeah, everything's going to be linked down below if it is currently available, but I would love to hear from you. What was your favorite polish that came out in 2024, or what were your favorite polishes? Let me know in the comments. We can chat about it. If you enjoy these favorites videos, please give them a thumbs up. It really helps me out. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye. Today's Would You Rather question is a weird one. Would you rather be itchy forever or sticky forever? Oh man, this is a tough one because I would really rather be neither. But if I had to pick, I guess I would rather be itchy just because I feel like being sticky would affect what I do with swatches, because I feel like that would make it harder to keep nail polish on, but I could be wrong about that. But then again, being itchy would be uncomfortable all the time, and then I would also want to scratch myself while my nails are wet, so it really feels like a lose-lose situation here. Actually, I don't know, maybe I would rather be sticky. Like I don't want to be stuck to everything, but if it is a like sticky sweat, so I feel like I would be fine with that. But as long as I'm not actually actively sticking to stuff, I think, yeah, okay, I changed my mind. I'd rather be sticky forever. So let me know your answer in the comments, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.